on. What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. Emilio will be back in here in a second. He just dropped in just a second ago and said, man, it wouldn't be right if he didn't pop in late. That's just how he rolls. So, all right, Tim, how we doing today, bub? I know we got a big game coming up this weekend. I'm excited about it. We'll talk about, everybody's already what we expected. Everybody picking the Lions to win it. Keep doing it. Please, God, keep doing it.
Yes, feed me more of this. I love it. I love being the underdog. And it's not underdog. We are the underdogs because we have some dogs on this team. I'm fired up for Sunday. It's going to be a wet, sloppy, sloshy, rainy, brisk autumn day at 12:65. It's going to be beautiful. I'm already on my way to Cabela's to grab a rain slicker for the game because it's going to be a wet one, and I think it will affect both teams, obviously, and it should be a great battle on Sunday at Lambeau.
It kind of feels like, too, people struggle with the surface at Lambeau that are not on the Packers team, and I kind of feel like we've got the better running game maybe. Do you agree with that? Do you think we got the better running game than Detroit? Because they got the best offense in the league, I think most people are pretty much saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it's so much about better. I think we're as competitive, if not better. Sure. I think both teams have strong running games, obviously, but I do think the elements will play a factor. And I, for one, think a slow grind of a game battling in the trenches in the rain favors the Packers in this matchup. That'll kind of quiet down any hot offense. If you get out there and it's slick, you've got issues gripping the ball, you're sliding around the tundra. So I'm all for seeing Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, the boys doing their thing out there on the ground. So I think we can hang with Detroit's run game, but you have to give respect, to your opponent, man. They do. They have a smoking hot offense right now, and a lot of this is going to come down to our defense in this ball game. So we'll see how it plays.
Yeah, they're leading the league right now in points per play, and it looks like they are actually fifth in the league in yards, or actually tied for fourth in the league in yards per rush attempt. Green Bay is currently eighth, I think, in both those categories. So it's going to be the battle of two top 10 offenses. It's going to really come down to, we say it every week, turnovers, right? Emilio, how you doing this evening, bub?
I'm good. Cut it close, but I made it. For the Lions, I was thinking that they have a good Thunder Lightning pair, and honestly, I'd probably give their run blocking to their front five over our front five, but I do think that, like Tim was saying, it is a competitive battle. I think I might have to give them the upper hand just for now. I think Matt schemes it better, definitely. But I just, to their front five, I think we have a little bit left to be desired from, our interior a little bit.
Yeah. Greg Ross in the chat said, I see Emilio has his camera on, but I don't see him. Is he wearing camo? So, yeah. This time of year, Emilio, you got to break out the camo, right?
Man? As soon as that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That and Carhartt, and you're good to go.
Exactly. All right, so we got a lot of stuff to cover, man. I mean, a whole lot of stuff. We're going to hit the Patreon group for some questions, comments there here in just a few minutes. Trying to stay organized and kind of hit on the things that are most important right out of the gate. I wanted to touch on this, which I thought is cool. So NFL Nerd, you guys know it's one of my favorite Twitter follows, right? At Nerding on NFL. They put out the playoff picture. It's never too early for me to start talking playoff pictures. I absolutely love it. So with 10 weeks to go, this is how the playoffs currently sit. In the AFC, the number 1 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. The number 2 seed, you got a cat over there.
Yeah.
Number 2 seed is the Houston Texans. Number 3 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. Number 5 is the Denver Broncos. 6 is the Baltimore Ravens. And number 7 is the LA Chargers. Currently how the standings sit. Now, when you hop over to the NFC picture, you've got the Detroit Lions in the number 1 spot. You've got the Washington Commanders, number 2. You've got the Atlanta Falcons, 3. Arizona Cardinals, 4. Green Bay is currently the 5th seed. The Minnesota Vikings are the 6th seed. And then the Philadelphia Eagles are the 7th seed. And, yes, the Bears officially have dropped out of the playoff picture currently as far as actually making the playoffs if they were to start today. I also like how they got the draft order listed over here to the right as well. You got as far as in the order in which the draft picks will fall based off the rankings right now across the league. Number 1, Carolina Panthers. Number 2, Tennessee Titans. Number 3, New England Patriots. Number 4, the New York Jets. And number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's kind of how the draft picks sit right now as well. So any comments on that, guys? Again, I just want to hit this stuff as we go through the season so we can kind of stay fresh on our mind. All right, here's how the league's shaking up.
No, I think especially looking at the AFC, I mean, kind of the usual suspects, right? Couple surprises in there. And again, this is, 10 weeks to go in the season. So the way too early, the premature playoff picture, if you will. But I think when you look on the AFC side, a lot of those teams are going to be in the mix. And that very well could be the teams that are in the playoffs. And maybe the seeding changes, as the records change. But that pretty much looks like the dominant forces over there. And then on the NFC side, I mean, same thing, maybe a little bit more interchangeable pieces when you look at, the NFC West and the South particularly. So you could see maybe the Cardinals drop out of there, and as maybe San Francisco gets back on track or the Rams get back on track. But the Falcons, it doesn't surprise me to see them up there. I had kind of preseason predicted them to be kind of a dark horse contender in the NFC out of our division, and they've been playing pretty good ball, pretty steady this year. And then, of course, what about that Washington football team? Those Commanders are something's clicking over there. Dan Quinn's got those guys balling. So the NFC playoffs are going to be entertaining as hell, and more proof that every game matters here as we walk into this huge divisional matchup. Every win counts because it could be that one loss that separates you from another team in your conference. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. We thought the NFC North was going to go 4 wide in the playoffs. At least I was kind of, hoping for it, just not as a love for the Bears, just as a cool thing. But like you said, man, it's crazy how much difference there are in those teams that are at the top of the draft board, and then the teams that are all basically sitting at 5-2 or 6-2, 5-3 ish. And what was it? Pat Mahomes and Malik Willis are the only quarterbacks left that are undefeated. Is that right? So, I mean, we just got to keep that in our back pocket, and
That's interesting.
We'll just stow that one away for a little bit later. But, let's fight the Lions for first and, try to make them come through Lambeau. I think it's, a good spot to be in compared to where we were last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Daryl in the chat said Green Bay is more a number 3 team than a number 5 seed team in the NFC. Completely agree. But again,
but if they go play in Atlanta, Clayton.
It's interesting. Very interesting. So I understand completely what you're saying there, Daryl, for sure.
Maybe we play well enough down the stretch that Atlanta's got to come here and play.
Oh, so you get to go to the game, Tim, and we don't?
There you go.
Yes, exactly that. Exactly that.
I will shell out a lot of money to go to Atlanta, man. I will. It'll be worth it for sure. Go over there, tour the Braves ballpark while we're in town, grab some dinner over there at that nice little complex.
Nice aquarium.
Football. Oh, yeah. Let's do it all, right?
Coca-Cola Museum.
Yeah. Rob Domofsky tweeted out, no Jordan Love on the practice field. He rode an exercise bike during team stretch and did not go outside with those practicing. Also, 3/5 of the starting offensive line did not practice. Walker, Jenkins, and Myers. All right, I don't think anybody's really too concerned with those 3. I think they'll all 3 be ready to go. Same with Josh Jacobs, Jair Alexander, and Evan Williams. All did not participate. Of those 3, the main one I'm concerned about is Evan Williams. I kind of feel like how no one's releasing too much information there. That's probably the one that you're going to want to look out for as far as the injury report goes. Now, also, Rob Domofsky tweeted out Jordan Love on how realistic it is for him to play on Sunday's game against the Lions. Quote, I think it's realistic. Said he could play without practicing this week, but that's it. Not ideal for trying to play a game, end of quote. All right, so that's kind of his take on it. And then, of course, Matt LaFleur was asked about it. Rob Domofsky tweeted out, Packers coach Matt LaFleur on Jordan Love, who did not practice. Quote, take it one day at a time and see where he's at by the end of the week. He's moving around better. We'll push the envelope on that. Said Love could, quote, potentially play without practicing. And then Rob also tweeted and attached to that, Quay Walker has cleared concussion protocol and will return to the starting lineup per LaFleur there. So Matt LaFleur did confirm Quay Walker will be starting at linebacker this week. Now, the real question becomes when we talked about the snap count earlier. I think I've still got them here. So Eric Wilson obviously played in place of Quay, got 57 snaps, absolutely balled out. Matter of fact, I think we've got a stat for him, and I'm going to turn it over to you guys here in just a second. I was going to save this for later, but since we're talking Eric Wilson, PFF Green Bay Packers says Eric Wilson among linebackers over the past 2 weeks, 86.5 PFF grade. That's fifth best in the league, the only linebacker in the top 10 of both coverage grade and run defense grade over that period. So when you think about, okay, Quay is going to start, and that's the message, I would much rather see Eric Wilson go out there and give him another shot as the guy who's going to get the 57 snaps. So essentially what you had is Eric Wilson get 57 snaps. Then you had Isaiah McDuffie with 38. And then you had Edgerrin Cooper with 34. So here's the question. Does Isaiah McDuffie drop completely out and Quay replaces Eric Wilson, and then Eric Wilson kind of replaces Isaiah McDuffie? It's all going to come down to game planning. We know that, where they like their matchups at. I think that's the three I would like to see out there for those 30-some plays at a minimum. Me personally, though, man, I want Eric Wilson or Edgerrin Cooper to get the majority of the snaps there at linebacker. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I want them to stay on the field the entire time. And we'll explain why here in a minute with Edgerrin Cooper, because my man won Player of the Week in the entire National Football Conference. But what do you guys think about all that? I know it's a lot of information, injuries in general. How you feeling?
Go ahead, Emilio. You take this one first.
Yeah, so happy that Jordan Love's at least on the bike, keeping him moving. He's not stiff. He's not, stationary. That's huge. Happy that Quay's back. Matt kind of said it as like, is Quay back? And he was more along the lines of, oh, he'll start, So I think that he would take that 57 spot. And honestly, I would maybe drop out McDuffie or rotate McDuffie and Wilson. The problem is you're going to drop it was 38-34 for Isaiah and Coop. You could split that between three and they all get 20 apiece, but then then you're still kind of rotating, and I think I'd rather have Wilson or Coop for the speed wise against the Lions, but happy that at least we're looking pretty good on the injury front, and staying as healthy as we can for already being, this late in the season. We got our bye week coming up so we can get those nicks and bruises out of the way and then just make the run to the playoff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I look, going back to what Clay said about McDuffie, keep an eye on his snap count these next few weeks. Obviously, we have the bye after the Lions game, but I look at this, linebacking core. I mean, we just brought in another linebacker, another stack backer. And,
right.
I feel like Quay, Wilson, Cooper, hell, Tyron Hopper. We haven't even scratched the surface with Tyron Hopper yet when you're looking in the future. And I just think about a guy like Zay McDuffie, and you're right, Clayton. It's like, where does he fit into this equation long term? And you don't want to get ahead of yourselves halfway through a season. You want to go with the best formula for success right now. And, Zay McDuffie's played a lot of quality snaps for us and is a good player. This is not a bash Zay McDuffie fest, but bottom line is their reps are reps, right? How many guys can you get into your rotation, and who's the most effective 3 or 4 that you're really going to use consistently down the stretch? And, I do think McDuffie can contribute, especially on special teams. We've seen him on teams. He's great. There's a lot of, different roles, perhaps some third down situations. You never know, but I'm with you, Clayton. And I'm sure Emilio agrees too. I mean, it's Eric Wilson and it's Edgerrin Cooper right now is the big show. And then you obviously hope Quay gets back on his feet and starts to play, his best ball here as we hit the halfway point of the season.
Right. And you're still going to need McDuffie. I mean, like you saw, Quay got hurt, right? It's someone, Wilson could get banged up, Coop could get banged up, any of that could happen. So it's not like we need to get rid of them. And that's why you still bring in the depth just to see if we need to bulk it up.
Yeah.
But everyone's got to be ready.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is like watch the snap counts, because I think Clayton's onto something that maybe guys just kind of leapfrog each other on the depth chart temporarily as you find your lineups for each week's matchup. But I agree, man. Zay McDuffie is a valuable piece on this defense for sure.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to personnel. That's the main thing, right? And I'm trying to pull it up here, offensive personnel tendency. Let me just go to Detroit. I won't put it on the screen, but I'll read it off to you guys. The reason you've seen those 3 linebackers have so many snaps last week is because they played a ton of 12 personnel. Remember, we talked about like 20% personnel. So now you got to ask yourself, what does Detroit do? And will it meet that 20% threshold? Will it be more? Will it be less? The Detroit Lions actually run 12 personnel 34% of the time. So you're going to get even more linebacker snaps. So what you're going to have is probably what Matt LaFleur was referring to there. These linebackers here, where you see Edgerrin Cooper at 34 snaps, that's probably going to go up to like 40. Mm-hmm. You know, the linebacker with the third most snaps will probably go up to that 40, 45 range, I would imagine, because they're going to run a crap ton of it. And again, Detroit may look at the game plan and go, no, we need to attack Green Bay with 11 personnel. And that might go from that 30, 35% down to 15%. Like, it just depends on the game plan. You got to be prepared for both angles for sure. But let's see here. HTE, we'll just leave it HTE, says in the chat, what are everyone's thoughts on the new linebacker on the practice squad? He's talking about Jamin Davis. So what I did was pull the tape from Washington here, and we'll just watch a few snaps. That you see right here. 3-point stance. So he played edge defender. He's number 52, and he was outside linebacker / edge defender, okay? And this was this year's tape, okay? So you'll see him rushing the quarterback. It was him right there with the tackle. I think he's 52, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
He made the tackle. Wow, he got blown off the ball there.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here we are again. I think he's on this side now. So you see him. 4-point stance, edge defender. He's a defensive end, essentially, in this 34 defense that they ran. Nice run stop there, right?
That's a great move. Got inside him.
These are his tackles. So this is going to look somewhat like a highlight reel. Don't take this as, man, this guy's a stud, right? He's a physical freak, don't get me wrong. But again, you see him right here, edge defender again. I'm pretty sure that's him over here, and he's going to roll off and get in there on the tackle. All right. So why do I mention that? Again, I just wanted to show maybe 3, 4, 5 clips and show you where he's lining up for Washington or was lining up for Washington. And essentially, he was an outside backer. I think this is him right here. He's standing up this time. Now he's going to drop into coverage, though. All right. Again, making the tackle. So the reason we pointed that out is because Anthony Campanelli was asked today at the presser, and thank you so much, HTE, for asking that question. Matt Schneidman said, he tweeted out, Packers linebacker coach Anthony Campanelli says new practice squad signing Jamin Davis is playing inside linebacker here. Campanelli talked with Davis before the 2021 draft, in which Davis went in the first round. Campanelli said you could tell why Davis went first round after today's practice. Here's what this could be. I'm thinking on the positive side. You guys know I'm a Kentucky fan. I never seen Jamin Davis as an edge defender, as just a strictly pass rusher. To me, he was a hybrid at best when it comes to rushing the passer, but he felt more like a stack backer to me. So now you're taking him where they try to fit a square peg into a round hole. He still may not pan out in the league, don't get me wrong. But
I was just going to say, do you think that's why things probably didn't work out in Washington?
It damn sure didn't help, right?
Yeah.
So fresh start, get him at stack backer, see what camp can do with him. I like the fact, start him on the practice squad, right? Ease into this. And if something happens like Emilio, or maybe it was Tim that said, you get an injury or two, pull him off the practice squad. You got a former first-round pick who has NFL experience doing something he wasn't comfortable with, now playing stack backer. Could be the recipe for greatness, man. Could.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think those NFL reps are key because, I mean, we have Hopper. We could go to him, but he's got special teams reps. He still hasn't taken a defensive snap yet. So I think we want a little bit more time, a little bit more knowledge of the NFL game, being in defense.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else on that, Tim? Anything else you want to add before we move on here, bro?
No, I mean, just all the faith in the world in Coach Camp. If anyone can unlock this guy, it's Coach Camp and Jeff Hafley's schemes. So fingers crossed. Let's see how things play out.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with another Kentucky boy, man. It's obvious they really like picking talent out of that program, though. And the fact that they went out and signed him tells me they probably had a pretty darn good grade on him for them to go, hey, you know what? Let's cut this dude loose. What you did was upgraded the linebacker position on your practice squad, and you're always looking to improve. But Blake B in the chat, good to see you, buddy. He says, J-Love is playing. My heart is officially set on it. If he can play damn near 100%, yes, let's do it. If he's not 100%, I just don't want to risk. Here's the thing. The best of my knowledge, he strained the groin, okay? You've got strains, pulls, then tears. A strain, kind of day to day. All right. A pull, 4 to 6 weeks. A tear, probably done for the year. Okay. So that's where you got to really focus on, okay, is it worth it to march him out there 1 week before the bye, right? When you've already won a bunch of games that you were not supposed to win with the backup quarterback. If you march him out there. And
in the elements, again, remember, in a monsoon game, yeah.
If he goes out there and goes from a strain to a pull, and now you have to throw him on 4-week IR, me no likey that, Jan. You know what I'm saying? So I'm leaning toward, unless he's 100%, and I mean 100%. Let's don't get too far ahead of our skis here. You guys agree with that, or am I being too conservative?
What the hell was that?
That was Clayton putting a stomp on the on Jordan Love not playing if he's not 100%. That's exactly what that was. I'm not standing.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
All right. Anything else on that? We good, boys? We good?
No, yeah. I'd rather probably run Malik if Jordan's not 100% too.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Malik, man. If you guys did not hear his
you got to go listen to
his
it.
locker room presser, I was going to play it, but I don't want to risk getting hit with a copyright or anything. But go to Packers.com and watch it. Go to their YouTube channel and watch it, and it's worth it to listen to the first minute and a half and the last minute and a half. It's absolutely awesome. Professor Cakes in the chat said, "Go play in Atlanta just like in 2010." I'm here for it, man. You guys remember? I remember the Wayne Larrivee call. What was it he said? Not since God. What general was it in the Civil War? Not since was it Sherman? Maybe not since Sherman came through here in the during the Civil War has the South seen such destruction or whatever it was. It was just absolutely awesome. We need to go pull that clip because Wayne Larrivee is just he's the man.
We have the best radio guys. We do.
We really do. No doubt about it. Jack in the chat says, "Can't believe this will be Detroit's first outdoor game this season and don't have any more till week 16 or 17. That's crazy." That's one thing, man. You guys know I'm not like I'm a traditionalist, and I try not to put when there's rules based around health and protecting the players, especially when it comes to brain injuries and the whole CTE thing. I have done a complete 180. I'm like, hey, look, we got to take this stuff serious, right? But there's nothing that pisses me off more than football in a dome, man. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm telling you, it is like I will, Mandy's tried to get me to go several. Hey, let's go and watch it. It's in a dome. I ain't going to a dome to watch a football game. I ain't going to do it.
Yeah. We're like Coach LaFleur, right?
Sit your butt outside.
In the element.
Get outside, man.
Like, no, it's just football is meant to be played outside. Like it, and like I know you went to Atlanta, Emilio, and we will go to Atlanta if they're in the playoffs. Obviously, we'll try to make that happen. Right. But they can open that roof up, right? That's a little bit better. It's a little bit.
Was close. It was close when I was there.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't know that they could open it, but it was close. They were launching stuff off the rafters, but you're right. You don't get that same feeling. You get the feeling walking in when you got thousands of people, coming across the road and parks and everything, but you get into the stadium and you're just looking at lights, basically.
Yeah.
I believe that's you guys probably don't care, but both Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm just hit home runs. Packers.
Oh, Yankees!
Yankees are up 3-0 right now. So if you guys did,
yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Last night was a blast just watching them come back. You had the crazy fan try to rip the ball out of the guy's glove. It's just like, welcome to the Bronx, baby.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the most New York thing ever.
Anyway, guys want to listen to Packer talk. I apologize. I got sidetracked there. Jason Y with the super chat. Appreciate you, bud. He said, thoughts on potential trades before the deadline. I'm not the big trade guy, Jason. I'm very boring in that regard. And maybe it's because I've gotten used to the Packers never hardly making the trades, at the deadline. Could just be that, but I'm all for upgrading the team. I will tell you this, as I've gotten older as a fan, I used to be the guy that just absolutely coveted draft picks. And as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, you can go get a Chase Young for a 3rd-round pick or something like that. Sign me up. Because when you've got a proven talent, and I'm not saying Chase Young specifically, and he might be Dookie right now. I don't know. But when you've got someone who's a proven talent at the NFL, and you're willing to, okay, we'll give up this pick to go get a guy that, okay, this guy can be an immediate contributor. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I used to didn't think like that. I had that Madden mentality of like, well, I'll be able to draft an absolute stud in the third round. It doesn't work like that, right? It just doesn't happen. So if you can throw a name out there like, hey, look, we can get him for this pick, I'd be more than happy to answer you and say, yeah, I'm on board. But as far as like combing through and trying to read the tea leaves and say, okay, this player might be available for the Packers, that player might be available for the Packers, I'm just personally not that guy. What about you guys? Any trades on your mind? Anything you'd like to see them do? Thoughts on potential trades here?
Not really. I got a feeling I know my team, and I think we may not make a move. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make a move at all before the deadline. I think sometimes the best move is no move. If nothing that, really strikes your fancy is coming across the table. We've heard, murmurs and rumors that there have been calls made to the Packers about receivers and other guys on the roster. And, the reports have said we've been completely unresponsive, as I would expect us to be. I don't think Goody's going to take the time to cook in the draft like he has these past couple of drafts and, make the moves he's made in free agency and build this squad just to start ripping it apart and, making moves here hurried up before the deadline. So honestly, I don't anticipate anything coming, but, I've been wrong before. I'll probably be wrong again. So who knows? But there's nobody really on the radar to me that I think we need to bring in. So I don't see Goody giving up draft picks just for the hell of it. I don't know. What do you think, Emilio?
I think that's a great point because, like you said, Goody's done a great job in the draft. And I think that the way he set up the team, he didn't set it up to go buy in the middle of the year. He didn't set up to have a bunch of money sitting there left over. I mean, we had to get Jordan's contract taken care of. And how are we building this team up to that point? I mean, that's why he turns the bottom of the roster in the offseason. That's why, we talk about all those changes. I mean, we were trying to decide what of the 93 we were going to cut to make the team, right? So if he needs something out there, I feel like he's seen something or he's got an idea for it. But yeah, if it's your window, your only chance, and you need somebody, fine, pull the trigger. But I don't think we need something right now. And I know people are saying, we could flip Preston. I mean, for what really? I mean,
see how he played on Sunday.
Right, he's a better veteran presence. He brings it. He's consistent. I wouldn't want to trade that for somebody that's come in, learn Hafley's defense now. And all the next steps that you'd have to do when you bring someone new in.
So true.
And there's multiple layers to it too. And thank you, Jason, for the super chat. We appreciate you, Ben. So Bill Belichick was talking about this the other day. Like somebody traded for Chad Uche, or what's his name? Is it Chad Uche? Josh Uche, I think is his name, from the Patriots. And he said, yeah, I mean, you get a good player, you get an edge defender that can fill right in and start for your team. And then if you like him at the end of the year, you re-sign him. If you don't, you let him walk and you pick up at least a six round comp pick. So you literally traded a 6th-round pick for Uche. He comes in, fills a starter role, and then at the end of the year, he walks in free agency. You get that 6th-round pick right back. So you're renting him for free. Like there are aspects to the trading process that takes place like that makes sense. But as far as Preston, I think I want Preston on this team. That's just me personally.
Yeah, me too.
I think he plays an important role. And all your one injury down, let's say you trade Preston for a corner. And then you have 2 edge defenders go down with an injury, and you're screwed at the most important position.
Aaron Mosby, your time to shine, man.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm more worried or interested, I should say, in keeping those premier positions, those tier 1 of importance positions, stock heavy, right? And right now you kind of got a boatload of potential at the edge defender room. And to the best of my knowledge, we're the only podcast that's talking about on tape how they're not just turning these dudes loose. Like there are specific pass rush rules that they're following to keep these quarterbacks in the pocket. And on every single play, there's 1 or 2 guys that are really pinning their ears back and going while others are protecting rush lanes. That's what I'm seeing on tape. Right. And I'm listening to other people break it down, and I'm going, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, boy, when we look at it on tape, you can look at a guy and go, yep, he's not going after the QB right there. He's just kind of playing patty cake and got his eyes in the backfield. But nonetheless, the right trade, I'm on board with for sure. Coach Lynn says J.C. Horn from the Panthers, praying emoji. So he's big on J.C. Horn being on the market potentially.
The Panthers are not going to have a team, man. I mean, they got rid of McCaffrey. They just get rid of everybody. And at some point we'll just draft enough to make the team good.
This is what we talk about, not modeling your organization, right? You've got to model your roster. You've got to say, okay, we need this, this, and this at these key positions. This stuff we're willing to let go of, and that's how you build a strong roster. That some of these people, it's exactly what Belichick talks about. Rather than ready, aim, fire, it's ready, fire, aim. Right. It's just like they don't have a clue what they're doing, and most of the time it's because they don't have a football guy at the top. Now with Carolina, they've got the former linebacker as their general manager, but like Michael Lombardi points out, he was in the room with the past GM, and they just basically promoted someone from within. It sounds like David Tepper just wants people to be – he just wants yes men in the GM position. Like, if I want this player, I'm going to go get him. Okay, GM, what do you think about that? You're going to lose your job if you disagree, but what do you think about that? Oh, you agree? Great. Let's go get him. Not a good look, man. That's why they're picking number one in the draft every year. It kind of sounded like Mel Kiper, didn't it? Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? Ari Ironminer says, we are fine with no trades. I agree with that on the surface. I really do.
Heard it from a fan right here.
We wouldn't be 6-2, right? If we needed, if we needed to trade for an impact player, we wouldn't be 6-2, and a close 6-2 at that. I mean, we could be 7-1. It's not too much.
It's like the ever intelligent butt cheese says here in the chat. If we make a move, it will be one Goody can't refuse, and I agree with that.
Yep.
Respect Orange says, I'm okay with trading away Dillard. I'm sure some teams will get desperate for a left tackle. If the answer for your swing left or for your backup left tackle isn't Andre Dillard, I'm on board with that. If he's so far on the depth chart, like who is our backup left tackle right now? We haven't seen, right?
Kadeem.
Yeah. So is Kadeem over him on the depth chart? Do you feel?
I don't know. That would be my guess, but my boy Glover is ready to roll whenever he needs to.
Damn. This guy, man, he would start Glover over Zach Tom at right tackle. So, yeah, if you're telling me Dillard isn't our backup left tackle, absolutely, man. I'd be cool trading him away, picking up a pick, right? So,
Jordan Morgan played a little tackle. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, here's the thing. Zach Tom could kick over there. Elton Jenkins could kick over there. It's just not ideal, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, Jordan Morgan played that his entire life until he got to the Packers. But it's definitely not ideal for the situation, It would be kind of cool. It wouldn't be cool if Rashid went down, don't get me wrong. But if Rashid had to miss time, it would be neat to see Jordan Morgan just kick right over there and dominate. Yeah. Oh, my God, that's your left tackle of the future. That would be really cool. So
clearly they saw something, though, there, and maybe it has nothing to do with him playing left tackle and everything with him being needed elsewhere on this line and just where he fits in, Yeah.
Right. Eric Sutherland says, day 3 at the University of Michigan's Children's Hospital. Could use some well wishes for my son. This is rough, folks, but Packers talk helps keep my mind a little less overwhelmed. Thanks, Phils. Hey, Eric, sorry to hear that you're going through that, bub. Whether you're a believer or not, buddy, I'll be praying for your family tonight. And if you need anything, if there's anything we can do, you let us know, pal. Anything at all, okay? And like I said, man, we're thinking about you. And if we can get on here and act stupid and talk a little Packers and cheer you up a little bit, that's what we're here for, man, for sure. We appreciate you always hopping on the stream. You tell little man, we're with him. We're with him in spirit for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Let's see. There's something else here. Since we were talking backer, actually, we'll come back to Edger and Cooper. Right? Let's get to the chat here from the Patreon group. I want to hit on some of this. We kind of fell behind. I apologize in there, guys. So first things first, Fractal of God asked the question, who is the best quarterback in the NFL this season? Do you guys want to answer that before I provide some data? Is there anything that comes to mind, a player that comes to mind for you guys that you think, I think he's probably the best quarterback, or maybe the top 3 quarterbacks? Who would you
Jordan
think?
Jordan Love and Malik Willis.
So who's the third best quarterback, Tim? Let's ask you that way. All right. Don't you dare say Sean Clifford either. All right.
That's a tough one, man.
It is.
There's some guys that are playing some really good ball right now, and guys that normally play really good ball that aren't. So it's kind of an interesting, league that we have. Interesting season. I don't know. I guess guys like C.J. Stroud come to mind. Josh Allen, another guy playing well for the most part. So yeah, but you know me. Call me a homer. I don't care. I'm rolling with Jay Money and Malik Willis for sure. Those are my top 2.
Who comes to mind for you, Emilio? Anybody?
Obviously Jay Money, but if we're talking like if I'm actually going to try to go off, an idea of where they're at playing, probably be Josh Allen, like Lamar, and
Lamar for sure.
I mean, I don't think it's Pat Mahomes. Who else? Oh, Joe Burrow's cooking, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, according to PFF.
Yeah.
So your top 5 in the NFL, according to PFF, is Lamar Jackson at a 90.5. Guys, he is your front runner for MVP right now, no questions asked. Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy. What's crazy is Baker Mayfield's having a hell of a year, but PFF doesn't agree necessarily. 77 is good, don't get me wrong, but he's 14th. Look at Malik Willis at 13th. That's just wild. These are PFF grades for those of you on the pod here. So, again, your top 5 according to PFF, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy. Now, if we were to dig into the stats just a touch and just go with just strictly passer rate, and we can look at some of the other stats as we got it pulled up here. Lamar Jackson leads the league at a 115.4 passer rating. Jared Goff, 115.3. Josh Allen, 107.6. Sam Darnold, 107.2. Joe Burrow, 106.5. And then Baker Mayfield at a 104.9. Obviously, Baker Mayfield leads the league right now in touchdown passes with 29, and he's got 9 picks. So,
you got to talk about Jaden Daniels, right?
No,
yeah.
I mean, we can't not talk about Jaden Daniels. I mean, is this guy the truth, or is this just like rookie phenom, first year darling kind of thing, or
he got all those extra virtual reps, Tim. He
just gives me hope. He gives me hope for the skinny guys. He's like built like me out there, running around slinging that humming that tater around the yard all day. It's fun to watch, man. Jaden Daniels, man, certainly one of the top tier for sure.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels was my favorite quarterback of this draft this year. Obviously, Caleb Williams was higher on our draft board just based off the data, but they were right there in the same tier. I mean, real close. I want to say Jaden was Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams was in a tier ahead of Drake May and Jaden Daniels. And when I watch the tape, it's like Jaden Daniels is the guy that I would like. I think he's a natural-born leader. He's gotten better every year that he played in college football. Every year he improved. And you're looking for that guy that shows that steady improvement. Totally the opposite with Caleb Williams. Great year the year before, then had a setback. So it's kind of like, makes it a little iffy. But, yeah, Jaden Daniels is a dog. I think he's a real deal. I really do.
Shout out to the chat bringing this up. Where the hell is Jared Goff on that list?
On which list? The PFF?
The PFF. Where, do you see Jared Goff's name here in the top 15?
Sometimes they do have errors where a player, their grade won't show up. I'll go check real quick and tell you exactly what his grade is, and we can add him in. I don't know why it happens like that sometimes, but you'll notice that there are some players that don't pop up like that.
Interesting.
So he's not popping. He's not even in the top 23 on the list. It's almost like it gets skipped out of the database or something unless you go straight to the page. But go ahead. What were you going to say? Were you going to say something, Emilio?
No, I was just saying about Jaden Daniels. He took or he works with a VR company about getting extra reps mentally. So he puts on the helmet and goes through processing a defense and things like that. He said it was on a Move the Sticks podcast, and I was trying to pull it up, but I think he got like 4,000 or 5,000 extra reps virtually just processing, defensive changes and things like that. And they're wondering, that's what helped them, lead them to the Heisman. And they're wondering if that's something that, younger generation and, even just moving forward, being able to mentally get through that process quicker and be able to see things. Because they said that you can add to it, like a coach can add their play, add, different things. It's probably still, in early stages, but add different things, see different defenses, and it helps him clearly.
So, and Jared Goff is a 66.8 according to PFF.
That's crazy. And Detroit's probably the most efficient offense right now.
Yep. And when you look at the stats, Jared Goff is lights out statistically. I mean, you're looking at a 74% completion percentage, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, a passer rating of 115.3. I don't know what's up with the PFF grade.
What was it again?
But his 66.8, I think, is what it was. So that's pretty wild to think about. And I bet they're catching hell. I bet if you go to Twitter and type in Jared Goff PFF, there are people madder than hell over there. I guarantee it.
They're over there.
65%.
65%. That's what I don't know why that broke me up. All right, Trevor Anderson in the Patreon group said, am I the only one that thinks they could be a better commentator than those on TV? As soon as Love got hurt, I said it's his groin, and they talked about his knee until halftime. Great win, go Pack, go.
Here's a guy.
Yeah, I didn't notice. I got to be honest with you, Trevor. I didn't notice the groin. I just noticed him limping. Now, obviously, when you start limping after an MCL has quote unquote healed, typically it's something that's kind of led to that. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. As far as the commentators, though, man, I understand it can get annoying, but I tend to have a lot of respect for former players. That's just me. And I think I'm in the minority there. I want to shut up and hear what former players have to say about how they're seeing the game.
Yep.
But I think commentating would be fun. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Fractal of God said it's not his groin, it's his knee, in my opinion. Obviously, it ended up being the groin. Fractal of God said, question for the show. Can you guys explain what is a can play? Real simple.
Right, who's going to go? Can. Who's taking it? Let's go.
Yeah, we talked about it on Chalk Talk all the time. A can play, you've got a play call and a secondary play call, okay? So basically, when you come to the line, when they call that play in, they give the quarterback the first play and then the second play. And when he gets in the huddle, he'll call it out like that. He'll call the first play, the second play. You know the first play is the play call. And then if you get to the line and you don't like what you see, or you get, like, in some cases, you get the look you're looking for to be able to can out of that split flow play into that dragon wheel where they hit the 51-yarder to Jaden Reed to set up the game with a field goal. Can, right? You're telling everybody across the formation, across the offense, forget the first play, let's go to the second play. All right, that's what that means.
That's what a can is, yeah.
And a lot of times people think that they can only can out of a run to a pass or out of a pass to a run. That's not necessarily the case. Sometimes you'll have two pass plays called, and you'll come to the line, and you'll get the more advantageous look for the second call, and you can to the second pass. So most
you've got alerts based off of those too. So you've got
Absolutely.
guys that can go hot. You've got, a can within a can almost, so to speak. There's different variations of those play calls.
Yeah. And it's, again, we get mad when people blow assignments, but it's understandable how guys blow assignments.
Yeah, that's why the whole dumb football player quote never made sense to me, because you can't play in the NFL if you can't process the game. There's so many things to know during the play.
It's like you only got two audible options, on Madden. You're sitting there, you only got your inside zone or your spacing, but you can only pick one of the two. But obviously you can have two passes, two runs, whatever. But you
could change a dig to a post,
right,
or you could change a go to a dig. Yeah.
But you can't call 4 plays in the huddle and run out there and say, all right, I'm going to go with number 3, and then have them remember what number 3 call was. And then, so, you got to keep it simple, but also fluid.
Yep. And that's when you really see LaFleur in his bag. You'll see him calling things because he knows, our quarterback is going to look at what that defense is doing when we come up to the line. And then, we can from there. Or like Clayton said, sometimes it's not just pass to run or run to pass. It's pass to a different pass or a different look.
Yeah. And for those of you listening on the pod, that's going to do it for hour 1. We'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all.